Hello and welcome to this week's Top 5. It's the week of April 14th, 2016. I'm Christina Rees.
And I'm Brandon Zeck.
So, a lot of stuff in Dallas because it's the big Dallas Art Week, although Houston's got its countercurrent stuff happening as well, but we'll jump in. During all the partying that's happening in Dallas around all the art stuff,
A lot of partying.
there's a lot of partying. So the thing that kind of ends the spate of parties is a show that opens on Saturday night. It's at what was a kind of a art and punk rock venue called that doesn't really exist anymore, and it's a loft in the kind of the Fair Park area. Anyway, it's a show curated by, and this is why it's on the list, David Quadrini and Suzanne Weaver, and an artist named Nick Stewart. And this is a group show of, I don't know, 30, 40 names?
Including James Franco and Farrah Fawcett.
Yep. Neckface. Kate Hardy's in the show. There are a lot of LA people in this show. A lot of artists I haven't heard of. Some artists we all have heard of. But it's a late night show. It starts at 10 p.m. It runs to midnight.
I wouldn't be surprised if it runs later than midnight.
Oh.
We didn't get an end date or an end time, so it's probably the after party. So number 4 is the UT MFA show in Austin. There's the UT Studio Art MFA show, but there's also simultaneously the UT Design MFA show and the UT BFA Design show. But the MFA show has a lot of names that we've heard before, a lot of names that are pretty big players in the Austin scene. There's Adam Crossland and Grace Lee Lawrence from Pick and Pony. There's Rachel Stuckey, who's had shows in Austin and Houston. And the work looks pretty good.
It does look good.
Yeah, so it's on the UT campus at the VAC. There's 10 artists total. And it's an MFA show, and UT has a pretty good MFA program.
So number 3 this week is Frank Stella. It's finally opening at the Fort Worth Modern. Michael Opping is the curator of this giant, massive retrospective of Frank Stella's work. It was organized by the Modern and the Whitney. It's already been to the Whitney, and it was trucked down in many 18-wheelers. I heard that this is the largest solo exhibition that the Whitney has ever had. It's certainly the largest solo exhibition that the Fort Worth Modern has ever had. I think it's going to look fantastic. It's Frank Stella. The work's going to look great.
The work's going to be huge.
Yeah.
The work's huge. Didn't the Whitney have to build like special walls to hold his big paintings?
Yes. And it's going to look really good at the Modern because that's Michael Opping's home. He knows how to deal with that building so beautifully. I think it's going to look stunning. And it's work from the 1950s all the way up until more recently. Frank Stella is 80 years old this year. He's still going. And, this is something that we've all been looking forward to since it was announced a couple of years ago that it was even being organized. So it opens on Sunday. By that time, the art fair stuff will be kind of over, and everyone can just go over to Fort Worth and look at Frank's work and take a deep breath.
Ooh, number 2 is Countercurrent in Houston. We just came off of the Fusebox Festival last week, and now it's Houston's turn. So Countercurrent is organized by the UH Mitchell Center for the Arts, and it started on Tuesday and runs until Sunday. Sunday there's going to be a big party at McGregor Park in 3rd Ward with Jason Moran. There's things going on the UH campus. An artist named El Cid is creating a big mural on campus. Carrie Schneider has organized a number of talks with artists who are part of Countercurrent. Big Dance Theater has a little walking audio tour type thing of the Menil. There's stuff that the Alley Theater is putting on. Hillbrand and Maximin have a bouncy house. A grown-up bouncy house.
Yeah, a germ factory.
You have to sign a waiver before you go in. Before you even see it, you have to sign a waiver.
Is that because you can get hurt in one of these things, or because you can catch a horrible, serious disease that will kill you?
Both.
But I like the artists. I like them. So number 1 is, probably not surprisingly, is the Dallas Art Fair. I think we've put this at number 1 on previous year's lists. It's about almost 100 galleries this year. I think it's bigger than it's ever been, and it's still in the FIG building, which keeps it feeling quite intimate. The flow is very nice. It's very international. There are galleries there. There are a lot of Los Angeles, New York, and London galleries there, but there are galleries from Tokyo, Mexico City, Vienna, Zurich, Antwerp. Of course, some of the really good Dallas galleries are in the fair. Tally Dunn and Conduit, Barry Whistler, Chris Worley. I think this is the first year that James Cope's gallery, which is And Now, is going to be in the fair as well as Aaron Cluley. I think it's a good fair. As far as Texas fairs go, it's definitely the best one. And I don't even know, I guess we have to call it a regional art fair, but, it's got an international feel.
Do we have to call it a regional art fair?
Do we?
Do we?
I want to just throw in there's so much happening in Dallas, and I just wanted to give a couple of extra little shout outs for a couple of other things. These are just bonuses I'm going to throw in there. One is Culture Hole, which we've talked about in Top Fives before, this hole that's in the ground inside the power station.
Culture Hole is back!
Culture Hole will always...
Culture Hole is back!
It will always be back. This is Jesse Morgan Barnett. He's one of the best artists working in Dallas right now. I'm not sure what he's going to do with it. We don't have pictures. There's no preview. It's very mysterious. I hear that there's a performative element to it. It's one night only. It starts at 10. It runs to midnight. And what night is that? I think that's Friday night. That's Friday night at 10. The other thing is the Shamrock Hotel Studios, which has hosted artist studios for years. They're having a kind of reunion get-together of current and former Shamrock Hotel Studio residents. It's about 28 to 30 artists, names you know, names you like: Margaret Meehan, Kristen Cochran, Lainey DeLay, Carrie Oldham, Peter Ligon. They're all people who've lived and worked in the studios, and that'll be a fun show. It'll be casual. It'll have a kind of much more informal feel than some of the other things that are going on around town. It'll be like a nice homecoming and very friendly. So that is on Saturday, and that's a 6 to 9 p.m. opening.
Check out our event listings. There's so much happening everywhere. There's so much happening in Dallas.
Yeah, go see art, because there's not going to be anything else to do this weekend. That's all there is. You'll be surrounded by art everywhere you go.
Go see some art.